Dolly Parton has passed away today, August 25th, 2026. In May of 2026, Dolly said she was responding well to treatment, as she put it. Her immune and digestive systems got all out of whack. And in an interview days before her death, she said she had been having hard times with her health and had overlooked some issues while caring for her husband. She was hospitalized at the Vanderbilt University Medical Center in Nashville, Tennessee on August 21st and died 4 days later at the age of 80. Dolly Rebecca Parton was born on January 19th, 1946, in a one-room cabin on the banks of the Little Pigeon River in Pittman Center, Tennessee. She was the fourth of 12 children born to Avie Lee Caroline and Robert Lee Parton Sr. Her siblings were Willa Dean, David Wilburn, Coy Denver, Robert Lee, Stella Mae, Cassie Nan, Randall Hudson, Larry Gerald, twins Frida Estelle and Floyd Estelle, and Rachel Ann, and her middle name came from her maternal great-great-grandmother, Rebecca. Dolly's father, known as Lee, worked in the mountains of East Tennessee, first as a sharecropper and later tending his own small tobacco farm and acreage. He also worked construction jobs to supplement the farm's small income. Despite her father's illiteracy, she often said he was one of the smartest people she had ever known with regard to business and making a profit. Her mother cared for their large family, her 11 pregnancies, the 10th being twins, in just 20 years made her a mother of 12 by age 35. Parton credited her musical abilities to her mother's influence. Often in poor health, she still managed to keep house and entertain her children with great Smoky Mountain folklore and old ballads. With Welsh ancestry, Avie Lee knew many songs that immigrants from Europe brought to southern Appalachia, and Avie Lee's father, Jake Owens, was a Pentecostal preacher, and Dolly and her siblings attended church regularly. Dolly long accredited her father for her business sense and her mother's family for her musical abilities, and when she was a young girl, her family moved from the Pittman Center area to a two-room cabin and farm on nearby Locust Ridge. Most of her cherished childhood memories happened there. A replica of the Locust Ridge cabin is displayed at her namesake theme park in Dollywood. The farm acreage and surrounding woodland inspired her to write the song My Tennessee Mountain Home in the 1970s. Years after the farm was sold, Dolly brought it back in the late 1980s. Her brother Bobby helped with building restoration and new construction, and she said her family was dirt poor. Her father paid missionary Dr. Robert Thomas with a sack of cornmeal for delivering her. And later in life, Dolly wrote a song about Dr. Thomas. She also outlined her family's poverty in her early songs, Coat of Many Colors, and In the Good Old Days When Times Were Bad. The Parton's small substance farm on Locust Ridge was in a predominantly Pentecostal area located north of the Greenbrier Valley of the Great Smoky Mountains. Music played an important part in Dolly's early life, and she was brought up in the Church of God, in a congregation pastored by her grandfather, Jake Robert Owens. Her earliest public performances were in the church, beginning at the age of 6. And at age 7, she started playing a homemade guitar, and when she was 8, her uncle bought her her first real guitar. The Parton family was well fed despite their poverty, and in her 2024 cookbook, Good Lookin' Cookin', which was co-written with her sister Rachel, recalls numerous family meals. After graduating from Sevier County High School in Sevier, Tennessee in 1964, Dolly moved to Nashville, Tennessee the very next day, which was a Saturday morning. After starting her laundry inside the wishy-washy laundromat, she got a cold drink and stepped outside. Carl Thomas Dean, a Nashville native, pulled up alongside the sidewalk where she was standing. He mentioned she might get sunburned because of the style of shirt she was wearing. Following that interaction, they began talking, and 2 years later, they were married in Ringgold, Georgia on May 30th, 1966. And although Dolly did not use Dean's surname professionally, she said that her passport read Dolly Parton Dean, and she sometimes used Dean when signing contracts. Dean ran an asphalt road and driveway paving business in Nashville for decades. He always avoided publicity and rarely accompanied his wife to public events. According to Dolly, he saw her perform only once. She also said in interviews that even though it appeared they spent little time together, it was because nobody saw him publicly. Dean often visited Dollywood by himself and toured the park unrecognized. Dolly commented on Dean's romantic side, saying that he did spontaneous things to surprise her and sometimes wrote poems for her. In 2011, she said, "We are really very proud of our marriage. It's the first for both of us and the last." On May 6, 2016, she announced that she and Dean would renew their vows in honor of their 50th wedding anniversary later in the month. Dolly and Dean moved into their long-term home on 75 acres in Brentwood, Tennessee in 1972. They kept ownership of their prior home in Nashville for several years. Since the 2010s, many clickbait articles and videos claim that they purchased their Brentwood home in 1999. Dolly's uncle, Dot Watson, and Dean built the home in 1970 and 1971. Her brothers Denver and Randy also worked on the structure, and several years later they added a guest house to the property. Dean and Dolly lived there together for more than 52 years until his death. Although they never had children, Dolly and Dean helped raise several of her younger siblings in Nashville. Her nieces and nephews and later great-nieces and great-nephews refer to them as Uncle Peepaw and Aunt Granny. The latter name was later used for one of Dolly Parton's Dollywood restaurants. She was also the godmother of singer-songwriter and actress Miley Cyrus. Dean died in Nashville, Tennessee on March 3, 2025, at the age of 82. Dolly began performing as a child, singing on local radio and television programs in the East Tennessee area, and by 10 years old she was appearing on the Cass Walker Show on both WIVK Radio and WBIR TV in Knoxville, Tennessee. At 13, she recorded the single Puppy Love and on a small Louisiana label, Gold Band Records, and appeared at the Grand Ole Opry, where she first met Johnny Cash, who encouraged her to follow her own instincts regarding her career. Dolly's initial success came as a songwriter, having signed with Combine Publishing shortly after her arrival, and at 19 she signed with Monument Records in 1965, where she was initially pitched as a bubblegum pop singer. Dolly had turned down several offers to pose nude for Playboy magazine, but did appear on the cover of the October 1978 issue wearing a Playboy bunny outfit, complete with ears. The issue featured Lawrence Grobel's extensive and candid interview with Dolly Parton, representing one of her earliest high-profile interviews with the mainstream press. Dolly was known for having undergone considerable plastic surgery, and in 2003 episode of the Oprah Winfrey Show, Winfrey asked what kind of cosmetic surgery Dolly Parton had undergone. Dolly replied that cosmetic surgery was imperative in keeping with her famous image. She repeatedly joked about her physical image and surgeries, saying it takes a lot of money to look this cheap. And when asked about future plastic surgery, she said, if I see something sagging, bagging, or dragging, I'll get it nipped, tucked, or sucked. And with that being said, rest in peace, Dolly.